Hello from Fremantle, where our hearts are only just starting to slow down after that real thriller against White Crusader yesterday. It was classic match racing at its absolute best. The wily Harold Cudmore trying desperately to hold off New Zealand and keep open White Crusader's chance for the semi-finals. The race started badly for the New Zealanders. They were left standing with only 3 knots of boat speed and spent the first 3 legs gradually closing the gap. When it came to the 4th leg, it was all on with the Kiwis in their blue and white spinnaker pressing very hard. But Harold Cudmore and the crew of White Crusader weren't about to give up. Well, coming down now on this first reach, that is the 4th leg of the race, the New Zealanders are closing. They've got their bow right up on the stern of White Crusader, but they are on the windward berth, so now Cudmore could luff up Bruce Farr if he had to defend that position.
That's right, Peter. He has the right to luff as New Zealand tries to pass him.
Okay, so there they're going, and now the breeze. He's got a staysail up at the stage, and the breeze is spilling out of Cudmore's spinnaker, but he could luff up any time. There goes a vicious luff now as he brings it right up. The New Zealanders have got to luff up as well to defend that.
That's right. They've got to keep out of the way and make sure that their sails don't contact the British boat in any way, and it's real close.
So now Cudmore has gone back. He's got more power into his sails, and he's staved off that challenge from the New Zealanders. Well, now, we just jibed through, and here's another luffing duel of the New Zealanders. They've changed tack over. The Brits do seem to have a little difficulty trying to hold on to the spinnaker pole. They're going all over gauge roads. This is exciting stuff, Bruce.
Yep, and New Zealand looks like they've just lost the tack of their spinnaker there a bit, Peter. They both jibed. New Zealand went first, and Crusader covered and luffed them up very high. Here they go up again.
Here's a vicious luff. Cudmore's after the New Zealanders. They've got to stay away, because if Cudmore can hit them, they open themselves to a protest situation. This is a vicious defence by Cudmore and friends, but they're doing it well.
Yes, and New Zealand has lost their spinnaker from the end of the spinnaker pole, which is probably why Crusader attacked hard that time. So they're probably going to have to jibe back again to get free of this.
Well, now
New Zealanders do have a problem there with their end of their spinnaker pole.
So Cudmore now is bearing away, and they're heading down to the jibe mark. A little tranquility for them after this really tough cut and thrust world out there, where the New Zealanders were trying to sail over the top of their British rival, but in attempting to sail over the top, they do open themselves to a real tough attack on that luffing.
That's right. I was surprised to see them actually sail over the top, Peter, because it is a vulnerable position, and whilst they're going faster, they may have been better just to sneak down to leeward and take the inside berth at the mark. Now, through attacking rather than just taking a safe position, they've got themselves into some trouble with their spinnaker, and they're going to be quite a bit behind. Looks like they may have broken something, in which case they'll have to get this spare spinnaker pole out from down below.
Now coming up to the mark, White Crusader with a good advantage. New Zealand tacks across to the ley line. So around the mark, White Crusader. As they jibe set across, they're determined to hold that inside berth. They did a good job on those 2 reaches. Here goes New Zealand around. So 21 seconds now. New Zealand was 45 to 47 seconds behind at the end of the second reach going into this beat, so the New Zealanders have halved that distance. They are 4 to 5 boat lengths behind. Whether or not they can close on White Crusader on this flat run, time will tell. Well, coming down to complete leg number 7, this is the second last leg of the race. It's been an enthralling downhill run, running square, where there have been 8-9 jibes as the New Zealanders have continued to attack the Brits. Remember, they were 20 seconds behind at the top mark. In fact, coming down to this mark, they were 45, 46 seconds behind. So as they're coming down now, it'll be fascinating just to see the pressure of the crews. Here goes the Brits now. They've gone for an early float, but the New Zealanders, Bruce Farr, are holding on to their spinnaker.
Yes, they're taking a right to the mark, Peter, and jamming the boat around the mark really tight and getting inside Crusader as they come out of the mark.
So that's excellent now, and the New Zealanders, that was a magnificent drop by the New Zealanders, and being able to do that, they've got it down a lot quicker and certainly a heck of a lot better than they did the last time they came down on that flat run.
That's certainly so, and now they've tacked onto the other tack, and Crusader is tacking on top of them, but Crusader is looking like coming out of the tack very slow.
Well, now, it was interesting in the other tacks that Crusader does seem reluctant to get into a tacking duel like many of the other boats here. They prefer to pick the shifts. Does that surprise you that the others are reluctant to take the New Zealanders on an attacking duel?
I think a lot of the people are a bit awed by New Zealand's tacking ability. We do seem to be faster in close tacking situations and in tacking duels, so I think they're trying to stay away from that so that we don't run over the top of them.
Well, what a marvellous finish we're in store for here as White Crusader is coming across on port. New Zealand on starboard. They've got about 80 to 100 metres to go. New Zealand is going to cross in front of White Crusader by a boat length, no more. This is exciting stuff, Roy Dixon. What a magnificent fight back by the New Zealanders up this final beat to windward.
Yes, some excellent work by the Kiwis. They've just crossed Crusader now. New Zealand on the ley line for the finish line, and I don't think there's any way White Crusader can get in there from that position, but it depends on whether the finishing line is laid square, and I'm sure this is one of the races where we'll see the Kiwis swing to the mark and drop their headsail to shoot that last vital couple of boat lengths to be sure of that first place.
Well, what excitement now. New Zealand is holding now on to starboard. They're coming up to the line. They've got about 30 metres to go. Meanwhile, White Crusader is on port. Get out your photo finish gear, folks. The New Zealanders are coming up to the line. I'm sure they'll spare the line any moment now, as Roy Dixon has suggested. They're coming up to the line. They've got about 10 minutes. They've brought it head to wind now. They've dropped the headsail to save time, and they're going across the line now. And there's cheers all around from the spectator craft, jammed by the New Zealanders, dropping their headsail as White Crusader goes across the line now. Oh, that was close. That was very close indeed. That was a magnificent finish. Michael Fay, you won't get one closer than that.
Well, Peter, I tell you, I've got a great respect for two crews out there today. I think that's about as tougher and harder racing, and I must confess, you'd have to give the Brits 100 out of 100. They've got their backs to the wall. That race has probably cost them their whole campaign. They fought and fought. They gave us the toughest race I think we've ever had. And of course the New Zealand crew down nearly 3/4 of a minute at that wing mark, and probably quite knocked about, I would say, in terms of being dealt to by Harold Cudmore. Just ground into it, and I'll tell you, they would have been so determined to get back it. So I think 10 out of 10 to both crews, and KZ-7, it shows she's certainly made of something, and so are that crew. That looks a pretty good sort of an effort, and signals well for the drama that's ahead, I think.